Emmett Till, for 30 years, nobody interviewed me or us to ask us about the story. 30 years. It was like Emmett Till got what he deserved. I've been told that. Preconceived ideas based on what someone said. I'm going to start with 1947. I was born in 1939 right over here on the Quiver River across the 442. 1947, the Great Migration, I was part of that moved to Chicago for better jobs. 1955, my grandfather came to Illinois for a funeral. And I had not been home in about 8 years, so my mother's going to allow me to go back to be with my uncles. I had 3 uncles here in Mississippi, 3 uncles younger than I was. It was Simeon, Maurice, and Robert. Emmett found out that I was born, and Emmett had no siblings, and his mother, when she wanted to take him somewhere, she would get me to go along with him to be like a brother to him. They didn't want Emmett to come south because they knew the South. The only way you can understand the South, you had to live it. I don't care how much I tell it, how much you read, how much you see. The only way you can understand it, you had to live. But anyway, those times they did not want Emmett to come south because he was a fun-loving prankster. Never had a dull day in his life, full of fun all the time. And in the South, that was not going to always work. Some of y'all heard Mr. Charles McLaurin, how innocent. You can be innocent and still get yourself. And I'm surprised he didn't get killed. Emmett was not the first one to be killed. He was not the last. A lot of people lost their lives. In the first place they looked by the river. My dad had to sleep with his gun overnight. So there were a lot of stories to be told. My uncle told me about 2 people being hung right down the street up in Duck Hill from him. He just died about 70 years ago. He was 105 years old. So there's a lot of things that we experienced. So the Emmett Till case was not unique. The only thing unique about it, it went all over the world. It's not like an idea whose time has come. So my grandfather I was going back with him. They didn't want Emmett to go south. So he carried on, so they finally decided to let him go. He missed the train downtown Chicago, caught it out on 63rd and Cottage Road. We rode the train and got to Mississippi. We were there 3 days and went to the store. Just 3 days, we went to the store and cutting across some things. And I was in the store when Emmett came in the store. I remember, I said, I hope he don't say anything stupid because he's full of jokes. And I knew I was in the South. I was born, my formative years was spent in the South. I knew he'd get in trouble if he didn't say yes sir, no sir. No man, he'd get in trouble real quick. I didn't anticipate getting killed, but I knew he'd get in trouble. So I said, I hope he got it together. Got all his yes sirs and no sirs right. So we went in together, and of course, Ms. Bryant testified off the record, not before the jury, that he grabbed her on the waist. Said, what's the matter? Don't be afraid of me. I've been with white women before. He didn't go to school with whites. He had no whites in his neighborhood, because Chicago is one of the most segregated cities in America. So that's what she told in the store, and some of y'all may remember, the counter's about this wide, and everything is behind. You had to go fetch it for the person. So I left him in there just a short time. Uncle Simeon went right in there with him. Nothing happened. What she said didn't happen. Now she confesses that he did nothing worthy of death. He didn't do anything. We know he did. I guess that's the sad thing. I'm glad she confessed because it puts him in another light. And I've been criticized for that, for accepting apology. People want me to hate. I can't afford to hate. The luxury of hate. Hate destroys the hate. Have you ever seen anybody you hate? You want to go the other way? That's a miserable life. I know none of you all hated anybody, but you've been tempted to hate, right? So I can't afford to hate, and I don't hate. I don't hate anyone regardless of what they've done, what they've said. I got a letter the other day saying that Emmett, nothing better could have happened to him than what happened to him. Still getting this kind of stuff. One guy said, he should have killed you. but anyway, those kind of things you live with. But you learn how to behave. What I mean by behave, how to conduct yourselves in the attitude of adversity. You learn how to deal with it. They used to say years ago, you eat the fish and you spit out the bone. And you can do that. You can do that. You can master that if you want to. So we came out of the store. Emmett and my uncle Simeon came out. Simeon was 12, he was 14, I was 16. They came out of the store, and that's when Emmett whistled. And we could not believe it. He loved to make you laugh. He had a real bad stuttering habit. I mean, he stuttered. It was very bad. He had just had polio, and that caused him to stutter. And when he did that, we just took off. No one said, let's go. We just all rushed for the car, and we got in the car, and it's dusk dark, and my uncle was driving. He's about 16, I'm 16. And then he started down this gravel road. We went on this gravel road. First we couldn't take off because someone lost a cigarette. And by this time, Emmett is afraid. We're afraid, he's afraid now. So we speed up, and there's a car behind us. They're behind us, they have to say, after my uncle pulled to the side, we all jumped up, ran through the cotton field, car went right on by. So we regrouped at the edge of the road. And of course we regrouped, and Emmett begged us not to tell my grandfather. And there's a girl there named Ruth, she's still there, still down there. He said, it's not over, I know those people. Come to find out they killed the next people. In the South, when something was done to a black person, nothing, absolutely nothing was going to be done about it. Absolutely nothing. Matter of fact, the police could very easily be a part of it, as was with the civil rights workers, Michael Sumner and Gilbert. So it's Wednesday, just got there Sunday, and we didn't take anything. Thursday passed by, 16, 17 with kids, we forgot about it. Friday passed by, nothing happened. Didn't look for anything to happen. By now, it's all over. Saturday, but early Sunday morning, on the way back from, I remember coming back from Greenwood and stopped at a place called 4/5, and you probably know about 4/5. Yeah, that's one day moving on. That's where they have a little joke and white lightning and all that stuff. We don't go into that anymore. We leave that like that. But anyway, my uncle hit a dog, and this time Tito was crying because he hit a dog. We get home about 12, and I hear these people talking. It's dark as 1,000 midnights. In the South, when the moon doesn't shine, I had a friend, his mother said, be home before sundown. It was one of those nights. He had to crawl, feeling the path. That's how dark it can be. That's how dark it was to me. Dark as 1,000 midnight. I said, my God, I said, I'm getting ready to die. These people are going to kill us. Talking about what happened in the store, the fat boy. Got 2 boys in Chicago, the fat one that did the talking. I'm shaking like a leaf on a tree. Come from a very religious family. Of course, when you're in trouble, you don't need a preacher or missionary. If you've been trained, your first, when death is imminent, you do what?
Right.
So for me, death is answer God. And I was literally shaking like a leaf on a tree. Stretching my eyes, didn't know where they were coming, and all of a sudden I hear the footsteps. They're coming my way. I'm stretching and looking, praying, shaking, literally shaking. And then they walked in, a gun in one hand and a flashlight in the other. Waiting to be shot, I closed my eyes. That's a terrible feeling, pure terror, pure hell. I closed my eyes, and I remember when the niggas going by, they didn't shoot me. Found Emmett in the 3rd bedroom with my uncle Sumner. Sumner was 12 years old. And of course they roused him up. He just didn't have the language together. I don't know what all was said, but it was just pure hell in that room too. He didn't know the yes sirs and the no sirs, and he wanted to put his socks on. It's like a morning, 2:30 in the morning. Your home should be the safest place on earth. 2:30 in the morning, I mean, that should be the safest place. But in the South, you knew that wasn't always true. My father had to sleep with his gun all night. Just thank God nothing came of it. So, it seemed like daylight would never come. My grandmother just insisted she wouldn't stay in the house. Matter of fact, she came to Sumner. Her brother,
Sure did.
that's her brother. And his son was just
Right
here.
across.
His brother was just here. So, they called him Mayor Sumner.
He was. He was, you're right.
He ran everything.
He did.
Did the school bus, turned the lights out at night. He loved it. Anyway, she came and left us there, and it seemed like daylight would never come. So I remember getting up, so putting my shoes on. They're coming back on my head for the woods. We lived in the woods. And And that's where people went to hide out, go to the woods. They never came, and eventually my uncle came over, he got his guns, and he took me to another uncle who lived in Duckhead, Mississippi. And later he told me that they came asking, was I there? But long story short, of course, they found Emmett this Sunday. They found him that Wednesday, and of course they found him in the river. Should have never been found like many other people that were never found. While they waited down, going downstream, and his foot was bobbing in the air, as God would have it. Pulled him out. He said, that's not Emmett. That's a white man. You guys ended up in Detroit. You guys trying to embarrass us by bringing this corpse. If you saw the pictures, Keith said it was a horrible looking corpse. It was horrible looking. Of course, 50 years later, about 50 years later, we did the DNA. And of course, we found out, we knew it all the time, it was him. And DNA also confirmed that. And we exhumed his body and in Chicago, and we put it back into its proper place. So that's kind of the short of the long. They found him and listed Mylan and Bryant, and of course, they had a trial and they won based on this is not Emmett Till, this is not him. And then once they found not guilty, you can't go back and try them again. But I don't have a problem with it. Everybody reads what you sow. How many times things happen and you knew exactly what happened? Maybe not y'all, but I knew something. I knew exactly what happened. I'm reading what it says. Everybody reads what they sow. Everybody. So let's always do it right. But anyway, they found him not guilty, and for all these years we had to live with that. Sometimes I was speaking in school, my own school. Got some always talking about Emmett Till. He misbehaved. Although he got what he deserved. That's the pressure I felt for 30 years. And the first documentary was done by a guy named Rich Sanders. And that kind of started the ball rolling. And the story of Emmett Till went all over, and then other things began to happen. Keith did it, Stanley did it, and things began to interest. It's like an idea whose time has come. And you say, how did it happen? It just happened. I always say it's like an idea whose time has come. It became interesting. In the story. So I go all over now talking about the story. Sitting right over here. So maybe you forgot what happened. Forgot? How can you forget something that traumatic? Yeah, it was said. And that's where we are with it now. So we're going forward. And the case was revisited. And we just met with the FBI and the Department of Justice and the Attorney General. They're looking into things, so they're not talking a lot. There's not a lot to be said on that, but that's where we are with that now.
Number one, in the Eyes on the Prize film, there is someone who is, the caption says he's Emmett Till's cousin.
Eyes on the Prize is the most erroneous
And he said that he actually said this bye baby thing.
That's Curtis
You want to be
Jones.
in there
Yeah.
at all.
And yet, he actually recanted the story to the family before he passed away.
I talked to Emmett Till, he said he apologized. He said he was saying what he had heard others say. And that's what we do, most of us. We're saying what we heard someone else say.
Yes, sir.
He was not there at all. None of what he said happened. And that's our cousin. The time when they came to get him, he was in the house, but he never woke up. But what he said never happened.
Okay.